This gentleman that I am standing next to, Joe Shelly, is the head of IT in the library for a college that I am proud to have graduated from, and a college that has a great history, founded in 1793 as the Hamilton and Knight Academy by Samuel Kirkland, and it's done some remarkable things. And I think Dan Nye, who ran LinkedIn for a little bit, actually, it's a little fact, I had a call with Dan Nye the day that Reid Hoffman said he wanted to come back and be the CEO, and Dan wasn't that happy because he had been running it, and it kind of came as a surprise. Dan Nye and some others have put some money behind creating an innovation center that Joe, in addition to overseeing IT and the library and what a library means in the 21st century, is going to think about what this innovation center can be. And I think some of the innovation in AI is going to come not from the coders, but from the people that can see applications for AI. Uber didn't happen until 16 years into Web 2, when people said, you could do this, can triangulate these technologies and opportunities. And I think the kind of environment that you're creating at Hamilton College, where I went, some of the next innovators in using AI will come out of that. And I think we need more liberal arts than ever before, at a time when there are fewer and fewer schools that take pride in liberal arts, fewer and fewer students majoring in liberal arts, a lot of them feeling the pressure to be professional. I love engineering. I work with engineers all the time. But there's a place for Hamilton, and a place for innovators and leaders from all walks of life, and I'm excited for Hamilton to be that. So you came here to Davos to meet some of the global shapers of the AI technology. How's it been? Being here?
Well, first, John, congratulations on just a terrific convening. I think it's been eye-opening, understanding the pace of change and the pace of innovation. Has led to a lot of aha moments, I know, for all of us in attendance.
Yeah. So what is it that you think about, and what's your domain? What are you responsible for at the college, and what kind of levers do you get to pull to kind of shape the college's future? A school that I care about, and I do think higher ed is going to be hit with a tsunami, and many schools are trying to tell students not to use AI, and I think we're going to have to go in the other direction and tell students to use AI, and students are going to be able to create PhD level papers, multiple ones, in a week. Doesn't mean they're PhDs, and AIs are going to read AI work, and students need to have to be facilitators. And as someone who's very creative and takes pride in being creative, I think AI is going to help actually bring out more creativity. I do think a lot of white-collar jobs are going to be eliminated. Blue-collar jobs were eliminated during the recent past, and I think that was hard on a lot of people. I do worry that we're going into an era that is we've never experienced. So talk a little bit about what you oversee and what levers you think you can pull to kind of help drive a great future.
Sure. Thank you, John. First, I think we're really fortunate where I am to have libraries and IT working together. I'm an IT person by background, but the great thing about our librarians is they have roughly 1,000 years worth of experience as a profession in the understanding of information ecologies. Mm-hmm. Never mind whether that information is in a book or being generated by an LLM. Mm-hmm. These are the folks that can really help students navigate truth and fiction, understand what the world's going to look like, how to interrogate sources, how to be critical about the way we consume and distribute information in the future. So, and if you extrapolate a little bit to liberal arts, I would say that the great American liberal arts institutions are among those best positioned to help solve problems that haven't been created yet. So this is a place where humanities meets science by design. Yep. So you've got a cross-disciplinary organization that's preparing students for this future that we're inventing right now here in Davos.
Yep. So we had like an all-star team. If this was the NBA all-star game, we had a bunch of the people in that realm. Yann LeCun, head of AI at Meta. We had Danielle Roos, runs the largest AI lab in the world, MIT, 1,800 people. We have Max Tegmark, who wrote Human 3.0, and I think Elon gave him $10 million to kind of look into not avoiding an existential threat. We have Nobel laureate Demis, created DeepMind and AlphaGo and got the Nobel Prize. We have Yosha Benja. We have the Mount Rushmore. Maybe rank, or you don't have to rank, but any of them, you're gonna go back to the Hill and say, "Oh, I heard so and so say live," and it makes me think that we can do this, or we should do this, or or we're already doing this. So anything like that?
In particular, I thought Yann LeCun was inspiring. One thing he talked about was the pace of change and development, especially in the world of AI. He said, for example, that we're probably looking at a shelf life for what we think of as Gen AI today. The world of large language models, 3 to 5 years, right? Yeah. That's a message I want to take back to liberal arts students right now, to make sure that they deeply understand that this world is evolving while they're in college, that they're going to be the contributors to what's being invented
Exciting
right
time
now.
To be alive, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I remember when I was at Hamilton realizing that AOL, Steve Case created AOL. And I'm like, I could have been a Hamilton kid. Yeah. And that there are going to be opportunities for that.
Yeah. One of your other speakers mentioned that at large universities, they saw a lot of students choosing to major in something that's really marketable, like, say, business, and at the same time choosing a second major to follow their passions, like French or poetry. We're looking at a world, and I think liberal arts are positioned to do this, but I think everyone's going to do it. We're looking at a world where that's not a choice you have to make anymore. Because these technologies will allow us to embed deep thinking and technological skill sets across any discipline, so that you're looking at a time when I think students won't have to choose between future and their passion.
Yeah, well, and I also think you're looking at a time, I took history from Doug Ambrose and Paquette and some others at Hamilton and loved it, and I could have been a self-directed learner with all these tools. I could have thrown some of the papers that I probably would have no patience reading into Google LM and have two AIs, have a podcast conversation about it, do it, listen to it at 2x speed, and even dialogue with it, and I might get those concepts. Where before, I would have done it maybe for an assignment, but I wouldn't have owned it. And maybe students that are liberal arts explorers who are curious may be able to extend their curiosity. I was good friends with Elihu Root III, and I remember spending a lot of time with him, and in his home, which McKimmey Dwight designed, which is now, I think, the Arts Center. I held a first edition de Tocqueville book that de Tocqueville wrote about his trip to America, that Elihu Root, the grandfather, had signed. He had lived in what was the admissions office, now I think it's the Dean of Students office, when that was a tavern, and people would travel, from one place to another and stop there. And Elihu Root grew up exposed to all these people around the Civil War, went on to be a Nobel laureate and Secretary of State, and was a well-read guy. And I also held his original speech that he held in 1905, that was in the House, when they dedicated the Alexander Hamilton statue. Like, that statue wasn't there before 1905. Right. And so, as someone who, I don't spend a lot of time in libraries, but I like the old stuff, and I saw that desk that you guys have in Stubbins, and I know, or in Burke, and I know Hugh Stubbins designed that, and Hugh Stubbins designed the Citicorp building, which I love, so I feel a connection there. Well, I want to say thank you for getting on a plane and coming here. I know this is not how you had planned to spend January, but thank you for recognizing that you have a role to play to get educated, to be exposed, and to think about how you can use this really dynamic time, a time like no other. 5 years, I had a conversation with Yann about my conversation with Sebastian, who wrote the seminal paper on ChatGPT-4 and got really emotional, where he said, I thought this was going to be 90 years away 5 years ago, and now it's today, and I'm thinking about what my daughter's growing up in. I'm thinking about what Hamilton kids, instead of saying, I can't get that accounting job, or I can't get that job at Procter & Gamble, which they hired tons of, because they're all going to be AI'd. Think of what are the Hamilton kids going to think about how to use this technology. And I know Stephen Tepper is convinced that Hamilton's the right school to be at the forefront of creativity, if not the best. And I think creatives, instead of losing their jobs to AI, are going to be the ones that are the ones that push the boundaries of what's possible and really add to our society in so many multidimensional ways.
I think you're absolutely right. President Tepper, who you mentioned, new president at Hamilton, has reflected frequently on Hamilton's strong history in creating outstanding communicators. We're known for writing, and writing as a way to express thinking. Today, in one of your panels, we heard one of the speakers talk about the need for the new bilinguals, right? The idea that you can't have someone who's an AI expert working with a chemist. You need a chemist who knows AI. So the places that I think have a history, a tradition, and a skill set in developing bilingual thinking are well positioned to take on the challenge.
So this is Imagination Action. I write a Forbes column, and one of my columns the other day was on imagination action, the line that Newbar used in his MIT graduation speech. And Newbar, one of our speakers today, his topic is polyintelligence. And he runs Flagship Pioneering, which created Moderna, and polyintelligence, you just used another word, similar concept. These are interesting times, and I don't want the Hamilton kids to throw up their arms and say, I don't know what to do. And I don't want them just to be the bridge from what was to what is. I want them to be the innovators and leaders. And thank you for seeing a responsibility here. And thank you to President Tepper for empowering one of your C-suite, one of your cabinet members. And I'm really proud of Hamilton, and go Continentals.
Go Continentals. Congratulations again.